Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Montgomery, Senior Editor with Gold Derby. I'm here to talk about the Dancing with the Stars celebrity cast announcement for season 25. I'm here with our contributors, Cordell Martin and Jeffrey Kare. And first of all, before we start discussing them, I think just for our, for viewers' benefit, I'll just let everybody know who the cast is and what pro partners they've been paired with. You've got in alphabetical order. Paralympian Victoria Arlen with Val Chmerkovskiy, WWE wrestler Nikki Bella with Artem Chikvintsev, Shark Tank entrepreneur Barbara Corcoran with Kio Motsepe, basketball player and coach Derek Fisher with Sharna Burgess, Hamilton star Jordan Fisher with Lindsay Arnold, 80s singer Debbie Gibson, she's dancing with Alan Burston, 98 Degrees member Nick Lachey with Peter Murgatroyd. His wife, Nick Lachey's wife, Vanessa Lachey, is partnered with Max Chmerkovskiy. Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle is with Whitney Carson. Terrell Owens of the NFL is with Cheryl Burke. Sasha Peters, not entirely confident on the pronunciation of her last name. She's with Gleb Savchenko, and she's from Big Little Lies, or not, Pretty Little Liars. So many liars on TV, and there's so little. Actually, I think I made that mistake in the blog item, and I need to correct that. Drew Scott from Property Brothers with Emma Slater, and violinist Lindsey Stirling with Mark Ballas. And Mark Ballas, of course, is back for the first time in a few seasons. Jeffrey, go to you first. What were your first impressions of this list of celebrities? These had been leaking in for a while, so we pretty much knew what we were going to hear, but what are your thoughts on this?
Well, some of them I am pretty excited about, like Frankie Muniz. He was, one person I've always wanted to see on the show for a while. And of course, I even had him in my casting poll, and I believe he got 4% of the votes. But in any case, I'm happy to see him, and I'm also happy to see Jordan Fisher, who I remember Zach Laws did a hangout with him after Grease Live, and I thought he was great in that. I'm excited to see him, and as well as Debbie Gibson, who I remember correctly competed on that, I guess, Skating with Celebrities, which was supposed to be some Dancing on the Stars spinoff, but didn't quite achieve the success. And of course, it's exciting to see another married couple compete on the show in the same season, this being Nick and Vanessa Lachey. And of course, it'll also be interesting seeing how Nick does on the dance floor, given how well his brother did on the second season.
How about you, Cordell? What did you think about this list? Favorites, least favorites, surprises? We've been discussing these, to some degree online also.
Exactly. I would say this is probably the first time since watching from season 1 where I don't have like a favorite celebrity. Normally each season there's just like one star that I'm like excited to see on the dance floor, which is kind of great because this time I can just kind of have an open mind and just follow each of the stars' journey. I will say that probably in terms of just stability wise, probably this is a very even cast in terms of that. Like there's just not a huge number of ringers like it was last season, or usually there's 2 or 3 where it's just like obvious that they're going to dominate the competition. Here I feel like Jordan Fisher might be definitely one of the front runners, but with him being a Disney star, oftentimes they don't usually have the best track record in terms of winning or, really hitting that main demographic in terms of just the support. But he's definitely someone to look out for in the competition. And probably also Lindsey Stirling. I watched a video of hers on YouTube with her and Derek Huff dancing, and she did a pretty amazing Argentine tango. So definitely looking forward to seeing her dance that with Mark.
And it's interesting, as these names were coming in, Lindsey Stirling was the one I was personally most excited about. Like in this case, I do have that one celebrity who I'm really excited to see, because I actually have been listening to her music for a while. She combines violin with this kind of dubstep electronic dance music. It's very, it's unique and it's energetic, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear her and see her dance to one of her own compositions at some point. And so I'm really excited to see her. Plus, she incorporates dance into her routines, into her performances already. So not necessarily a ringer, like she's not Heather Morris, but you know, she's got that background that I have a feeling she's gonna do well, and she's got that internet fan base. And I'm already seeing it. We have a poll Derby asking who fans are rooting for, not necessarily even who they think is going to win, and she's handily winning that at the moment. But you know, online polls are not scientific, but she definitely has fans coming out in full force. Now I'll put both of you on the spot. We've opened our prediction center at Gold Derby to predict the winners and who will be eliminated and all that sort of stuff. Who are your picks for the top three? Sight unseen, who do you think will finish first, second, and third, just from looking at this list? Jeffrey, why don't you start us off?
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I mean, I could see Victoria Arlen have, you know, her being a former Paralympic swimmer. I think she has potential. I think, well, Nikki Bella looks like she has potential with her being a WWE wrestler. There's also Derek Fisher, who of course was a former NBA point guard, and well, of course too, well, Cordell's point about Disney kids not making it too far on the show in the past. I mean, though he does have a point that Jordan Fisher probably is one to look out for, given that you know how much he's shown himself as a triple threat on Grease Live and on Broadway in Hamilton. And of course, there's also Terrell Owens, who's a former NFL wide receiver. So, you know, yeah, of course, athletes have done well on the show before.
So do you have a 1, 2, and 3 at the moment?
Not right now, but let me see. I guess if I had to take a top three, I'd go for I guess you know, at the moment I'd probably put Victoria, Nikki, and Jordan in my top three.
How about you, Cordell?
Yeah, my top three, definitely Jordan. You know, I think he's just gonna be that young star to watch, like Zendaya, Kyle Massey, Normani, Victoria. I think she's definitely going to be that inspirational story that the audience is going to love and really rally behind. And also, she has Val, and Val is one of the most popular pros out there in the show. And also Lindsey Stirling and Mark. I feel like Mark wouldn't have come back to the show if he didn't have someone that he could win with. And I think Lindsey is definitely going to be that star that's going to take him all the way. Possibly might win the Mirrorball Trophy. But those are the three that I would have to predict right now.
Yeah, I've got those three right now. My gut is telling me Lindsey Stirling to win it because I know she's going to have the dance skills. She's got Mark Ballas, which is a big deal. And I feel like Mark Ballas having a comeback at this point. He's only won the Mirrorball Trophy twice, which compare to his friend and co-competitor Derek Hough, won it 6 times. No one but Derek Hough has won it even more than twice. So it really feels fitting that someone with a reputation on the show that Mark Ballas has would have that third win come in. So that feels like a strong bet. But then I've got Jordan Fisher in second. He does have the dance background and the performance background and the music background and gymnastics background too when he was younger. So he's going to have some considerable skill. And he's paired with Lindsey Arnold, who has gotten people to the finals who aren't that good. Cough, David Ross. So I feel like now that she's got what's close to a ringer, if she could get like David Ross and Alex Skarlatos to the finals, he could go all the way with this guy. And he does remind me, you talk about the Disney stars who haven't really had that much luck. He does actually kind of remind me of Riker Lynch. who finished second and in his season. I think second to Rumor Willis. I think won that season.
Yeah.
And so it feels like that kind of star, the young Disney fans. But he's going to have the dance skills to back it up, and he's going to get the high scores potentially. So I think even if he doesn't get the fan base right away, he can build that. If he sticks around long enough through performances, and I think he will. And I do have Victoria Arlen in third. It depends on how good she is, obviously, because she's going to have the sentimental vote. She has the emotional comeback story, coming back from illness and physical disability, Paralympic champion, Amy Purdy, shades of her, and also Noah Galloway, who a soldier who had amputations, that kind of story. So, but she's going to need to be able to dance to get, it's not enough to have the story, because we saw from Bonner Bolton that you need to be able to put one foot in front of the other on the dance floor, or the story's not going to it's not an inspirational story if you can't dance.
Yeah.
Or just take off your shirt every week. They get really hot and bothered.
So looking at this list, we've got 13 celebrities on it. Someone has to be the first to go. I don't know if someone will be eliminated the first week. Depends on if there's a result show the first week, or they might just carry over into the second week. Mm-hmm. But regardless of whether it's the first week or the first elimination, who do you think will be the first to go, Cordell?
I'm torn between 3 stars. Frankie Muniz, Derek Fisher. I want to say Barbara, but I feel like Barbara is going to be the comedic relief of the season, like a Cloris Leachman, Patty LaBelle, Gladys Knight. That's going to be the fan favorite, and she'll last for like maybe 4 or 5 weeks before she's eliminated. So I don't see her leaving. But I'm torn between Frankie Muniz and Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher, just watching the announcement today on Good Morning America when he admitted, I don't really know how to dance. I was a little surprised by that, but then also he's not like one of the more popular NBA stars, and then also the NBA stars really don't have the best track record on Dancing with the Stars. Like Ron Artest was eliminated first. I remember Rick Fox ended up in like 7th place or something like that, and other basketball players really haven't gone far in the show. And then Frankie Muniz, he's more well-known than most of the stars, but it's been a while since he's been on TV or in the public spotlight. And I just don't know if he is a natural dancer, but he may surprise me the first week. So either Derek or Frankie, I could see going home.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, he does have a point about how NBA people's track records. So I guess that is something that could be, and I held against Derek Fisher. And with Barbara Corcoran, well, I guess she is kind of a question mark. I mean, again, she could be the comic relief, but we shall see how she does in the first week. And yes, and as for Frankie Muniz, well, of course, I mean, yes, he hasn't been in the public. Well, he hasn't been in the public eye for a while. So, I mean, of course he is. Since since the heyday of his acting career, he has, tried his hands at different stuff like open wheel racing, drumming, and so I guess it should be interesting to see how he does on the dance floor.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I don't know that it'll necessarily be obvious. I feel like Frankie Muniz, if he gets like a Chris Kattan level low score first week out, he's not. I don't think he's going to have the viewer votes or the fan base to hold him up. He needs to finish like middle of the pack or higher, I think, to be safe to move on to week 2. I do think he has the possibility, because he's young. He's he's in his early 30s, so he could have the stamina and the energy and the ability to pick things up. It's also interesting because, had he just been an actor, maybe we'd be writing him off. but he's also now a race car driver. And we saw Helio Castro Neves and James Hinchcliffe really surprised us. So now he's got the magic formula. He sits in a car and drives for a living. So that means he's going to finish in the finals, obviously. So there is that possibility of surprise with him. I don't think there's any possibility that Barbara Corcoran will be a contender to win. But I feel like, because I remember during the announcement this morning when they were asking, oh, who's had previous dance lessons ever before? She was one of the people who raised her hand. And I feel, if I remember correctly, Robert Herjavec did a little prep work before he came on the show, separate apart from what he was doing with his partner on training with her. And so I have a feeling she might have put in some dollars into if not becoming, the next star of the next pro dancer on the show, to be maybe a little bit higher level getting started, because she knew she wanted to do this and she knew she wanted to make it a little bit. So I can see her lasting a couple of weeks at least.
I agree with you. And plus she's an entrepreneur. Like Mark Cuban was also on the show, and also Robert, as you mentioned. And entrepreneurs, they're competitive. They don't like to lose, and they don't want to be the first ones to go. So I definitely can see that competitive spirit, really coming into play with Barbara and making sure that she's not the first one to go.
And Keo definitely doesn't want to be the first one to go. Her partner, he has had such rotten luck on this show. He's been eliminated first twice. He has been eliminated second, I believe, twice. And then he made it to 6th place, which is an amazing finish for him with Jodie Sweetin. But they keep giving him dancers who, nothing against Barbara Corcoran. It doesn't seem like he'll win with her. But hopefully she has more potential than these other dancers he's struggled with. But what's interesting about this year's lineup is there are a lot of question marks who I don't have on my list to win and I don't have on my list to be eliminated, but they could end up on either list depending on how they do. I could see Nikki Bella being on either list. Maybe, she's athletic, but maybe she's got 2 left feet. Then you've got, Terrell Owens, NFL stars do great, except when they don't. So he could be in either category as well. Vanessa Lachey and Nick Lachey. I don't know how they'll dance. Drew Lachey did very well, of course, as you mentioned, Jeffrey. He won season 2. But, that was a decade ago, and Nick is his older brother, so is he going to have the same kind of ability to move and stamina and energy? He's obviously in shape, but, once you pass the age 40 threshold, it's not as easy to win on this show. So it's, I feel like that Drew Scott also, I think he's another one who has the potential to be comic relief. And he could be one of those people who is surprisingly good, a middle of the pack kind of guy.
Yeah.
Or he could be one of those guys who just can't dance at all and he sticks around just because he's so charming and charismatic. There are a lot of people who, after that first week, I'm going to be shifting a lot of people onto my elimination list and a lot of people onto my winner list, I feel like. But I don't know exactly who they are. The only people I'm confident will do well are Jordan and Lindsey. And then even the people who I'm not sure will do well, I can't say for sure that they will be terrible, which is actually not a bad place to start this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you guys most looking forward to this season? I'll start with you, Cordell.
Let's see. Looking forward to getting to know a lot of these celebrities. As I mentioned before, a lot of them I'm not too familiar with or really followed their journey. So that's always one of the best parts about Dance with the Stars, is just really connecting with the different celebrities, as well as just what routines the pros are gonna pull out. I mean, it's been on for 25 seasons and always just amazed how creative the pros are, and just showcasing their celebrities and their abilities on the dance floor. Then I just also curious to see of how they're going to do the whole rivalry aspect with Nick and Vanessa. They're going to go the route that they did with Alexa and Carlos, where it's the marriage couple, it's all about them, and then week 6, for example, they're both in the bottom 2. Are we going to go through that again?
Oh, we definitely will go through that again.
Dance with Stars, so I don't know why I even said that. But
whichever one goes first, they will put the other one in the bottom two, no doubt.
oh yeah, definitely. So those type of things with the manipulation, I'm always looking forward to that. But yeah, just the journey of the celebrities and just how it goes.
How about you, Jeffrey? Anything in particular that you're kind of excited to see or interested in seeing?
Well, I do agree with a lot of what Cordell says. I guess what I'm also looking forward to is seeing, I guess, well, for one, the celebrities I'm familiar with, like Frankie and Jordan and Debbie and Nick, seeing how they do, as well as, seeing how everyone else does, as well as, how they grow week by week and how much they, well, don't grow as much week by week. So, yeah, it should hopefully be a pretty fun season.
And I too am looking forward to seeing the growth. I think this is an interesting season where it has fewer ringers, fewer people who have that prior, no one here just stepped off of So You Think You Can Dance, try and be an amateur dancer this season. But you also have a lot of young, fit, potentially athletic competitors, whether they're specifically athletes or not. So I do think that growth potential in this season, more than a lot of previous seasons, is there. Like, we might see some people start in one place in week one and actually grow significantly, instead of, okay, these people are bad throughout, these people are okay and they maybe get marginally better, and these people are great and they stay great. I think we might actually see a trajectory of, oh, that person didn't have it all together, but maybe they got it together. So I'm really most excited to see that. And with that, I think that's a good place to close this initial discussion of the celebrity cast. Cordell, Jeffrey, I'm sure both you and I will convene again throughout the season as the season progresses. That's always a pleasure. And thank you everyone for watching or listening.